You think you're doing now, right? Y'all ain't heard this. This was the tail end. It was winding down. The height of it, I wasn't even on here yet. I wish I had thought of it earlier and quicker. So I was like, "What the fuck are they talking?" For one, I didn't know who he's talking about for the longest. But then when I realized, I'm like, "You gotta be." Well, even before I realized who he was talking about, I'm like, "Whoever he's talking about, he's doing the same stuff. It's crazy." His mouth can't function without right? Who cares? He's an asshole, right?
Already for him?
I'm done.
Maybe
Yeah, I'll process. I just put a vlog out of my activities yesterday for those of you who are at the $10 and higher tier. It was supposed to go out earlier today, and then it took forever to load. Well, it took a while to edit it. My editing software has been dragging. Oh Lord, I can't get the break. Like when I actually have enough energy to edit and stuff, then the editing software is taking forever. But anyway, I pushed through it, got it edited, and it took hours, about 4 hours, to get the whole process and get it on Patreon. And then when I was labeling it, I accidentally I opened up another window, and when I came back to the Patreon window, I forgot that I was in the middle of typing captions and titles and stuff, and clicked off of it. Not even off of Patreon, but I clicked another tab on Patreon. I was like, "Oh, that was me setting up the video," and then I had to process the video all over again, and that's when I was like, "I'm taking a nap." So y'all supposed to get this around 7 p.m. But it's out now, and yeah, so y'all can see it. It's an hour and 25 minutes. But it's what I was doing yesterday. I have been feeling wonky off, so that's why y'all ain't really been seeing me. I'm trying to pull it together, and just I'm juggling quite a bit personal life stuff. So yeah, that's why I hadn't been live over the weekend and stuff. But I did get y'all a vlog out. Now it's officially out. And then I'm still trying to figure out exactly content wise what to do for YouTube. I did in the vlog though, you'll hear me talking about some of the stuff though. I go into detail about some changes I want to make. I don't think I feel like talking about it right now, to be honest. Oh, I was editing today the Griggs siblings video. It's eight. Well, now it's I think it's a total of about almost 6 hours of footage. Started out at I think about 12 hours of footage, got it down to 6 hours of footage, and I actually learned today, finally, how to make it easier for me to edit it because that's what's been taking so long. We're about to be at a year, y'all, that I've had the footage. Those of you who've been around a long time, you've actually saw the editing process because I when I did the rough edits. So now I'm just mixing it all together and pulling the interviews together like by subject matter. And I figured out I could show y'all this. Let me see, video share screen window. So I'm really trying to get this out this month. So now I have it. What I didn't know how to do before, which was making my editing so much harder, is how to separate the clips into topics because you got to keep in mind I did each interview was separate by person, and each one of these colors down here now I've kind of went through them so they look a little different. But like the purple is Asia, the blue is Corbell, the what is it, burgundy or pink or whatever you want to call it. This is Kaylin, and then the blue is Darren. See how delayed it is. Darren, and then my green color is Darius. And so what I didn't know how to do before that I just started doing today, I do have a program where I do like an online training, but I'm been working on it for months. Like I do a little bit at a time. I didn't know that I could label at the top to show myself the different segments of my video. So y'all can barely see it there, but like this green color, everything under this green bar falls into my category of the early years. Then there's a section I have called the protector. So all the clips that fall under this white part is protector. Same thing, favorite memories of Dre, the giver, him being a giver, their experience with the, this is taking forever. Why is it doing that? I don't think I even got a title. But anyway, here this section here is their experience with the Montgomery family. Then you have the Welcome to Sweetie Pies show years. Got stories about Dre and Charles and their relationship. Dre's last days because they all have their stories with that. Tim's plot, the infamous call from Miss Robbie, Michelle Griggs and how she handled the grief as a mother. Then when it was a cold case, how everyone responded to that. The arrest of Tim Norman, with all of them, and how the family dealt with that. The trial itself, the justice, once they got justice, when everyone was convicted. And then one more, if they could have one more conversation with Dre, what would it be? And then Dre's legacy, what would they want Dre's legacy to be? So now that I have this, now this was my idea at first, but it was just so hard to wrap my mind around pulling it together, and I was just doing the best I could, but it was getting confusing. It was just too much. It's too many hours of footage. Like right now, you're looking, it says 13 hours of footage, but once I delete all the gaps, it's about 6 hours. My plan is now that I got a flow, because I worked on this probably a good 3, 4 hours today, and it was really coming together. So my plan is I got all of Darius and all of his interviews chopped up and in its categories. Darren, did I finish Darren? Oh yeah, I finished Darren as well. Yeah, I finished Darren's interview as well. So now I have moved on to Asia, and she's the purple. So once I get all this in its proper categories, the bits and pieces of her interview, like chopping out pieces, then I move on to Corbell and then Asia. Corbell and Asia is I'm sorry, Corbell and Palin have the longest pieces. So once I get those done, then I can like really tighten things up. What I'm debating about doing, and it's really because I'm trying to trick the YouTube algorithm to be ready for the real video, is I may throw out a little teaser trailer that might be somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. But I got to kind of figure out. I think I might just do the first part or something, first 15, 20 minutes or something, and throw it out just to get the algorithm kind of ready for it. And then it's gonna definitely be 2 parts, but I want to put them out back to back. So I don't want to put them out until it's completely done because the mistake I made with Michelle Griggs' interview is I just completed the first part, put it out, and then started working on the second part, and it took me months or weeks. It took I forgot, but a week or weeks or a month or so. So this time I just want to get it all done. But I'm finally glad that it's making sense to me, and I have a system that's working because I've been struggling, y'all. Like combination of not being able to flow with it, but also just getting lost and it's just being complicated. And then sometimes even it's a sad story. So sometimes like not being mentally in the space to do it. But we getting there. God knows we getting there. What else did I have? It was something else. Where is it? Oh, did y'all hear about? Oh, I can take this. Did y'all hear about Mariah Carey? She lost her mother and her sister over the weekend. Her sister was estranged, and her mother and her had kind of touch and go relationship. But she did say that she basically got to see her mom before she passed. I think her issue with her sister was I think the sister was on drugs and selling. Y'all correct me if y'all knowing if I'm wrong. But I think this I read her. I didn't read her book. I listened to her audiobook, Mariah Carey's audiobook, which was actually really good. I remember I listened to it when I flew to Florida to hang out with some YouTube friends, and I end up listening to her audiobook pretty much for the flight there and back, and finish the audiobook during that trip. But I think her sister was on drugs and selling stories to the tabloids or something, and that kind of messed up their relationship. I think the brother might have did something similar, stole money or something. But yeah, that's sad. Mariah Carey lost her mother and sister. Then Judge Mathis, I talked about it briefly in that pre-recorded video I put out. him and his wife. Well, his wife filed for divorce. I see a lot of people talking about it. People are speculating that they don't think he was cheating. Who knows? We don't know. I'm saying I don't know, but what I do know is I have a little bit of insight because I know someone who worked for him for many years with his production company, and he's a pistol behind the scenes. Like he's a bit of a tyrant to the point the person it was like mentally abusive kind of stuff. So he's not that great of a person as he may. I don't know. I think you can kind of see it even on his court show that he has a way of going there. But behind the scenes, yeah, he's so I'm like, ain't no telling. People tend to treat their spouses worse. Like if you see the worst in a person, their spouse probably has seen worse than what you're seeing. So yeah, who knows? It's not out there exactly what happened. She filed it as irreconcilable differences, so that's usually what they file it as when they like stay out of our business. We don't want you in it. Yeah, I've just been doing that, and I have. For those of you who have access to the vlog, I just thought about everyone wants to see it. Everyone doesn't have access to the vlog, but in the vlog, I did share. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. If you have access to the vlogs at the $10 tier or higher, you'll hear more about that. So yeah, that's that. I mean, in short, that's that. With that, just so y'all know. So I've been trying to get my mind right because I'm sitting here. It's hard to be creative when you're stressed at the same time. A few years ago, a girl had a lot of stuff online saying she had an affair with Judge Mathis. Yes, is that around the same time? Like Wendy Williams was reporting on it, and he then started calling her a crackhead and all of that. Is that the same thing or something additional? My whole thing has been I have been an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've had many businesses. And over the years of having businesses, I have, I don't know what the hell it is. Kind of been talking to God about it a little bit. Like, what is going on? That seems like almost every career I get in, something happens with the industry. Unless it's in my mind, also, I started thinking, I would say the first part of me thinking, months or years ago, whatever, was like, okay, maybe the problem is all industries are up and down, which is true to a larger degree. And the thing is, maybe I have been bailing and jumping when I should have just stayed the course. So, for example, I was a realtor. I didn't really enjoy being a realtor. People waste your goddamn time, and my time is valuable. I don't like people wasting my time. People looking for houses, but they ain't that serious, or they scared, or the husband like this, but the wife don't like this, or the wife like this, but the husband don't like this, or now they breaking up and order this food, and somebody done bought a car in the middle of the process. What the fuck are you buying a car for? You know it's gonna mess up your debt to income ratio, driving all over the place, and they late to get to the appointment, or they change their mind, or they soon as they walk in the see the outside of the house, they like, ooh, I don't like this neighborhood. You ain't looked this shit up before you gave me this address for us to come to. Like all that. I hated being a realtor. Hated it. So that was on its own. I stopped doing that. I still should have kept my license though. Being a real estate appraiser, which I started doing that after. I enjoyed that. I actually love that work. The problem with that was the scamming clients you had to be careful for. Every industry has its thing, but I had to be careful. I think I told y'all the story before of oh, I have so many. Oh, I have so many appraisal stories. I'm gonna have to share these on YouTube. But one was this guy. I know I told y'all, but some of y'all a new word, so y'all may not have heard it. But it was in Oak Park, Illinois, which is like a nice upper middle class suburb of Chicago. Not of Chicago, outside of next to Chicago. So I get this assignment. All I would get is, oh, it's been so long, y'all. Let me try to think. Basically, I would get like an email or fax. No, we had faxes back then. So I would get like email or fax. Usually it was a fax, I think. And it would be the address or the listing. I think I would get the listing of a property address and like maybe the contact information of the owner or realtor, whoever was responsible, my point of contact. And I got one for this place in Oak Park. And um, the first thing I would have to do is comps. They would tell you the value that they're looking for, and then you just run comps, which is like the houses within a 1 mile radius, and basically come up with an estimated valuation for that particular property based on the size, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, all that kind of stuff. So I do this for this property. This is back in, had to be like 2005 or 6. Do evaluation for the property. It hits the numbers easy. You then send it back and you let the loan officer, I think it was a loan officer I might have been dealing with, let them know, hey, yeah, we can get this for it. They happy. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is gonna be an easy one because it's in Oak Park. There's tons of properties around this place that's valuing even more than what they trying to get. I think they're trying to get like back then, like maybe 600,000. Get to the place. Now, I think the loan officer then connected me with the homeowner. He did. I remember this part. Connected me with the homeowner. So I'm talking to the guy on the phone to schedule. Guy sound real cool. He's a real estate investor, but this is going to be his personal home, is what he's telling me. Get out there. House is beautiful on the outside. I think it was a 3-story single family home or whatever. Beautiful home. And it even had lights on the side that just cast down the side of the house. I was like, it was really, really nice. He takes me in, opens the front door. It's gutted. Nothing but studs. It looked like a skeleton up in there. It's like now it was clean and being like under construction, but you could see the entire house and upstairs standing in that one spot, like literally looking through the joist. I was like, nobody told me that this was not completed. All I got to see was the listing and whatever, the exterior pictures, usually just the front when you're looking at listings. It looked great. Nobody ever told me the house was under construction. What the guy was trying to do, and the loan officer, because you used to have to be careful of this, they were testing me on top of this. But what they were trying to do was get me to value it at $600,000 plus, which it would have been valued at had it been livable, instead of the 200,000 or 150, whatever it would have been, that it was actually valued at, because it's completely gutted. Part of the reason why our real estate market crashed, in addition to the real estate bubble, was because there was a lot of fraudulent activity happening with appraisers. People like me who would go in a house like that under those circumstances and still value it at $600,000, knowing it's gutted. And then what would happen is that the owner would eventually default and foreclose on the house. The bank get it and then realize it's not even livable. And now this person then ran away with nearly $500,000 that they shouldn't have never been able to get. It was a epidemic. So I ended up was like, oh no, I don't roll like this. This is the best I can do on your value. The homeowner calling me, what if I do this? What if I put some drywall up? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, this gotta be livable. So I ended up still working with that loan officer, but he was slick and he still ended up scamming me out of $900. No, was it more than that? I think it was like $1,200. He had me do a few appraisals and I would invoice him and he would pay me. I would go pick up my money or whatever, drive all the way up north to go pick up my money. And then he finally scammed me on like 3 or 4 invoices where he never paid me. But anyway, I still enjoy being a real estate appraiser. The other thing I remember was there was a house that I went in and it was in the hood. I had a HUD key to get in there, and I go in the house and I'm supposed to, I don't know if I was a realtor or appraiser then, I can't remember, but I ended up going in his house and it was like everything's turned off. It was wintertime. And it's like, basically like it looked like a crack house, basically, but it had some stuff still in it, but kind of empty for the most part. And as I walked from the living room into the dining room, I see this brown thing laying in the floor. and I got startled by it. It was a dead dog, frozen dead dog. Ooh, oh my God, that's still to this day still traumatizes me. I ran out of that house so quick. I never went back. I think I was there as a realtor. I'm pretty sure I was there as a realtor. Because if I was there as an appraiser, the work would have had to get done and I would have had to figure some stuff out. Because you got to take interior pictures, you got to do stuff, inspect it and all that. And that place I was able to be like, uh-uh. Oh, the other thing, so I went out to lunch yesterday with my BFF. And so, we were talking about life and stuff. Actually, there's a couple topics that I want a couple topics I might do kind of YouTube on YouTube. But there was something she said to me yesterday, and we've talked about it before. But yesterday it kind of was, I think because I've been pondering in my head, it was almost like a confirmation. And so I was talking to her about like, actually I was texting with her earlier last week. And so we were talking about it again at lunch. And I was explaining to her like the situation is really just the lack of stability. And it's just at this point, mentally, I just can't deal with it anymore. And so she was saying, she said, she was saying, what I really feel is that if you were to be on YouTube as yourself, and she was like, how she was like, everybody comes to you for advice. Not anymore, really, because I'm such a recluse. But it used to be a day where people would call me for advice, for general advice, wise counsel, also like from a career expertise level, everything from dealing with real estate, construction, childcare, everything. All my worlds, y'all. Some of y'all know I've been in a lot of worlds. And she was like, I feel like if you were to present that on YouTube, that would make you blow up. Like that would take you to the next level and all of that. She said, because the truth of the matter is, she says, you are not and have never been a gossip. And she was like, yeah, you talk about stuff here or there, but she's like, you don't live in a gossiping kind of headspace. And I'm like, it's so true. And I think that's why when I'm talking to y'all about my ebbs and flows, like sometimes I just can't pull it out of me. Well, that's because I'm not really a gossip. I'm interested in stories here or there, social media here or there. Before the pandemic, I was not on social media like that. I was not following the trending stories. That is why sometimes when people are talking about stuff that happened with celebrities or things that happened in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, some of these stories we talk about, and y'all even tell me about, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that part happened. Catch me up. I wasn't in that space. I was doing my real life and just wasn't a social media person. So, and what pulled me into it, because the truth of the matter is, the evolution of Vell, which was the first iteration of the main channel, was supposed to be about life, like me sharing knowledge, vlogging. I really just didn't have a like aspirational business, entrepreneurship, all those sort of things. It wasn't gonna be hot topics. What had happened was, some of y'all know this, but what had happened was Sweetie Pass happened. I was interested in TV shows, and that was me kind of filling up space because I do have a wide array of interests. So I was doing TV show reactions and stuff like that. But I also I've had people reach out to me about my inspirational messages I used to put out while I'd be in a car and I'd just be spouting out stuff. But I used to do those things, walk-in vlogs where I would just be talking about, goals and aspirations or whatever. And so I was trying to grow the channel. And then MJ Harris was the first thing I ever talked about because it was a particular hot topic that y'all know I get going with some stuff just get me going. Like tonight, this Darius Crooks foolishness, this bullshit got me going tonight because I really was literally drained and laying in the bed. And then got the notification he went live. And I went to my den because I already had that other laptop in there, hit record. I went to lay back down. And because my den is so close to the bedroom, I could hear it. And I was like, damn, I forgot to shut the door of the den so I wouldn't hear it. And then I just was laying there and I was in and out of sleep, but I was hearing the bullshit. And then it woke me up to the point I was just laying there listening. And I said, it just got so ridiculous. I was like, I could be listening with y'all because it was so crazy. But it's got to be stuff like that. So the MJ Harris thing got me going, and that was the first few videos, first 5 videos on my channel. But then Miss Robbie and Janae and Tim fell out, and that went public. I found out 2 weeks after the fact. I did a video on that because I cared about Sweetie Pies. That was one of my favorite shows. Then a month later, Tim gets arrested for conspiracy to for hire and all that, and wire fraud and all that. That's how we got into the space of me doing the Sweetie Pies, and then people wanted more gossipy commentary from me, and it was getting the views. And I was like, let me get the people what they want. And so I got away from the personal and moved into that space. But that's not really, I'm not one-dimensional like that. So when she said that, I was like, for one, I've been thinking about that, how I'm struggling to talk about that stuff when I'm just not in the mood. And for two, I have really been wanting to be more purposeful in what I put out there and the energy that I put out there. Yes, well, I still gossip or shits and giggles here or there. Yes, but that's not the core of who I am. I'm a servant at heart. I'm a teacher and a servant at heart. Like, that's what gets me going. If you look at my career track, that's what I've always done. Those are the things that I succeed at. So I am in the space of, I had already created the new channel. I've been debating about if I was going to still just convert the IAmVellB Reacts to it, but the algorithm be playing with you. So I'm like, maybe I'll just kind of start from scratch on the separate channel. And then with the IAmVellB Reacts, do my biographies and stuff like on celebrities and notable public figures, et cetera, et cetera. But trying to figure it out. But I'm going to be moving away. And we've talked about this before. This ain't new to some of y'all. We've talked about it before, but I've been convicted to say, quit trying to force yourself into that because that's supposed to be the views. And maybe it's God making the views not be what they were and making it harder for me to produce that content because that's not really the path I'm supposed to be on. I'm not a blogger at heart, for sure. Half of the ish we talk about over here, that should never go. Right, exactly. So that's why they really are getting sneak peeks, literally. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am. I'm doing a lot of soul searching and trying to recalibrate for success, basically, for success, and for this next season of oh, that was one of the things too. Before I go, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. People despise this woman because, and no offense to some of y'all, but my friend and I, we talk about this. Her is a Taurus. We got any Tauruses listening right now? I don't want to lose no Tauruses. But we do know the Tauruses can be emotional. Y'all know it. Y'all love food. And y'all stubborn. And some of y'all be haters too in work environments and other kind of environments. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. We know. We've dealt with a bunch of Tauruses. And she actually was in a relationship with a Taurus. I was actually in a relationship with a Taurus. Actually, I've been in a relationship with 2 Tauruses. And I survived. But anyway, so she said the crazy thing is everyone says here at the organization that it depends on her mood, how she interacts with people. Some days she comes into work and she's speaking, she's stopping in your office, sitting in your guest chair and talking and blah, blah, blah. The next day she'll walk right past you in your office like you don't exist, won't speak or nothing. And they can tell by the way she come in the door what kind of mood she in that day. And then they pay hell for it. Again, I've been a manager. I've had staff. I've done appraisals. In my old job, we didn't quite do them the same way. We didn't do that once a year. Actually, no. When I first started with the company, we did once a year appraisals. Then they flipped it to our, what do we call them? Check-ins. One-on-ones. We call them one-on-ones. And depending on your department, sometimes you had them monthly, sometimes you had them weekly or bi-weekly, just depending on the staff level, position, what y'all got going on in your projects or whatever. So we changed it to that. And during your one-on-ones, if there were any major gaps, then we worked through them, hopefully, without any kind of official documentation. However, if there were no improvements, then we would move into a gap conversation documentation. And we would talk about the gaps and how to work through it. But actually, before we even did that, we had a roadmap. So we had I think we just called it the roadmap, but it was like a growth roadmap. And so that would be how you navigate if you were interested in, like, what are your career goals? Do you want to, at some point, get a promotion? Do you want to move to a different department? Do you want to elevate yourself to even be able to work outside of the agency? Whatever that might be, we create a roadmap for you for that, and then you work through it. You got to maybe meet with this department. Maybe we want to see you join more organization activities. We want to maybe get involved with the community, or maybe you need to return to school and get a degree in this or get a certification in that. That was what the roadmap was for. Now, if with the roadmap or even outside of the roadmap, there were gaps that were major gaps that were affecting your workflow, then we would have the gap conversation, and we would have a gap document to help figure out how to solve that problem and close that gap. And if that gap ain't closed by whatever dates or, whatever, then we would move into, helping you up and out the door. I forgot what you used to call it. But anyway, they do traditional appraisal. I said, well, did she at least let you give input into your people's appraisals? Like, this is crazy. Who wants to, I was saying, I've done that work doing appraisals for, tens of employees. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It's horrible. I'd rather just have the ongoing conversations. I love that. I always said that will forever be my approach if I'm in charge and can make those kind of decisions. It will forever be my approach. But anyway, she then has her own. So she said she did sit down with her for her employees, but she said when she was talking about her staff and going through their appraisals, her boss was like, see, your problem is you too nice. See, you be trying to get them to like you. See, you got to rule with your foot in their ass. Like, no, you don't. That's not how you get people invested. And so she has that conversation. But when she has her review, she basically put her foot in the ass. But her was saying that she was too nice. She tried to blame her for, it was a lady who they hired, I don't know, some months ago now, 7 months ago, that they hired, that my friend and I were talking about. I was telling her how to offboard the lady within her 90-day promotional period. I said, she's not going to work out. Again, I'm really experienced at this point. I could be very cutthroat in a corporate environment situation. I still am nice, but I'm very cutthroat. I did have a couple people. I think I had two people I hired. They were they both contractual? They were both contractual. That's why it was easier to get rid of them too. They were both contractual. Both of them ended up writing in to my VP, trying to get me in trouble for letting them go. They said I was being unfair. I was like, girl, we've had conversations. Both of them had the same issue too. Being late. They weren't taking the job serious. Both of them were highly educated, and I think that was part of the problem. Like, they felt that because both of them had like PhDs, doctorates and stuff. And it was an air that they had about them with that I think made them think that they could outsmart people. I don't know what it was, but they both had that same energy that but they weren't performing. It's like, fine, have all that, but perform, be on time. And you can't give me, I ain't gonna even say that. I let stuff go. You can be late. You can have life stuff happen. It's life stuff happens, but it can't be a pattern of it. And then when I let you know that this pattern that we are seeing develop, if it continues, will be a problem for us being able to continue as a team, and it affects the team, and you don't correct it, how you gonna get mad at me when I finally had it? And we've had gap conversation. And then when I get to the last moment where we're having the conversation, I'm sitting down in front of you and I'm like, I admire you. I really enjoy you. You have a great disposition. The clients enjoy you, et cetera, et cetera. But for what we need, and I think we've had these conversations, and for what we need and what you've been able to provide, unfortunately, it's not working out for us. And so at this point, we're going to, separate. And then, how dare you? You hater! It's like, get out of here. So anyway, I was told that she basically was incompetent because the person that they hired, that she didn't want to hire, but her wanted to hire, was not performing well and dropping the ball in her role. So she got blamed for that, although was trying to get rid of her before her 90-day period. But when she was writing her up, because the woman had horrible attendance, she was going through her sick days and PTO before her 90 days was up. She had run out. I said, let her go. You got to let her go now. She tried to, and her blocked it. Now the is blaming for the incompetencies of the person she wouldn't let her get rid of in the first 90 days. And now they need to do a whole, exiting strategy for her. And so she's like, you should have started this paperwork on her. I was trying to get rid of her in the first 90 days. When I gave you the paperwork, when she started it, she was like, you were ignoring the paperwork. You weren't processing it. You're HR, which is the problem. HR, and people don't like her. People been quitting. She fired a guy because he didn't like her. Like it's a lot. So long story short, like she was like, now, she said she got word from one of her staff over the weekend. One of the staff reached out and was like, hey, yeah, just called me about my hours, telling me I had missed punches. And it's like, why is she in my staff's time clock? Like, she ain't even supposed to be doing that. They submit through me. And that was in my old role, it was the same thing. My VP never, ever went around me for my time clocks or went in them. Even with my own time, sometimes I would get busy or have meetings or a conference or something and forgot to put my time in. That was the only time she would ever tap me on my shoulder about the time. Never once did she go in the system. What about this person? What about that person? I said she's trying to set you up. I said, so why she trying to set you up? You make sure you document every damn thing. And I said, you just continue to, because now she's looking for employment and stuff. I said, look for employment. And I told her, document everything and hang in there till either you find new employment or she fires you. And I said, if she fires you, you'll at least be able to get unemployment as long as you document this. I've been down that road. And I know how to document the hell out of some stuff. Y'all already know. I present. Y'all think my YouTube videos be something. If y'all could see the way, I remember when I worked at, they're defunct now. That's because of how they treated me. They went out of business. Years later, though. Yeah, I actually thought about them a month or two ago, and I was like, I haven't seen no commercials from them. Googled it, and sure enough, they are completely out of business. But anyway, I did, again, I got many lives around here, y'all. I used to be a consultant, a salesperson, I think was the name of the company. And so when I first started, we had a base salary of $25,000 plus commissions. So with the $25K base and the commission, it was actually a decent salary. On top of that, I still have my own side gigs. Y'all know I've always been a serial entrepreneur. So I was good. It was a good time. I wish I knew YouTube back then. I mean, I knew it. I wish I was on YouTube back then. Anyway, because I could have been documenting some of the chaos. So anyway, I was working there. I worked there for about maybe a year and a half or so before they started having financial issues, which led to where we're at today, where they ain't around. They started having, it was around the real estate bubble. People weren't buying luxury items like that. And we were not really cheap. The cheapest thing we had was our mini blinds wasn't even technically that cheap, but we had mini blinds. Our vertical blinds were pretty much the cheapest between the two of them. Everything else was really high end. Like, I mean, We had people paying $50,000 for window treatments, like easily. However, oh, they was racist, y'all. They were so racist. So I worked out of the, for those of you who know Chicagoland, I'll give the suburbs. So I worked out of the location. So Sock Snob, you already know. I forgot. I don't think Donna Hammond in here tonight, but those of you who know is higher end. I don't know about as much now. All them suburbs slowly taken down. Oh, Jesus, what's happening? But so I worked out of location. Why was my territory only Southside City and Westside City? Why wasn't I out in Tinley Park, LaGrange Park, Monee, Crete? Why wasn't no? I did have a couple Cretes, I ain't gonna lie, but I always had the black people in Crete. But there's no problem. I ain't saying, because I ain't really had people spend a lot of money. Every once, I can't even remember that. Maybe the biggest sale I might have had, I'm really guessing because it was some years ago, over a decade now. Maybe about 15,000, 10, 15,000, I think was the biggest sale. Maybe 15,000, maybe 15,000. They hired me. They hired this guy named, and the only reason I give his name is because he's actually Darius Crook's associate. Darius Crooks knows him because it was in the choir scene, or still is, in Chicago. So that's kind of how Darius Crooks met him. He's also been on Darius Crooks Lives as of like last year sometime. I even got it recorded. Sales body oils and stuff. So, and he got on there, and Darius Crooks then dogged his business afterwards. It's a whole thing. I have that in the archive. That's supposed to come up at some point. So, excuse me. It was so myself, and then it was a black lady, Serena, and she lived behind me a little further south. She lived in Beecher, I think it was called. Beecher, Illinois, which is probably like an hour and a half outside of Chicago, close to 2 hours. But anyway, so she lived out there. They had us all in the urban areas. I didn't realize what was happening until after training. Like, we all went to training together. We all got hired together. They hired a bunch of people. So, well, I would say maybe 15 or so of us, because it was a few of us in that training class. I do remember that. So we were in a training class. We did like 2 weeks, I want to say, of training or so. The training was pretty comprehensive as well. I learned a lot about window treatments. Like, I always knew construction and stuff. So and I went to interior design school. So I learned a lot that I still use today. So, and I learned about draperies, how to measure for drapery and all that kind of stuff. So we get through that, and it's like, it's white people there. It's, it was just like a group of us black people, and then the rest were just, Caucasian, white. So when we realized our assigned areas, all three of us ended up at the Orland Park location. They had a City of Chicago location in what do they call that area? I don't know if you're still up, Sock Snob, but what's that? What do they call that area? But that's a gentrified area now. We were in a shopping mall there. So they had a location there. We had the location. We had the headquarters. But anyway, they send us out, and they just sending us to all the places the white folks ain't comfortable going. It was so blatantly obvious. All the black people only go to service. I did service the black suburbs too. So I was in Matson and Richton Park and Park Forest and Chicago Heights and all that. It very racist. Then and then now we had other salespeople that worked out of the location, but all the white people worked in that vicinity. They coming in with $30,000, $20,000, $50,000 checks. From sales they made. Their earnings that every month in the $100,000 plus. Odds in the 30, 20, 30 was good for us. if that, sometimes 10, 15. But I remember, I told y'all this story before. Lincoln Park, thank you, Sock Snob. That's exactly what the area was. Lincoln Park. So, and so guess what? I never got a sales job at Sock Snob. in Lincoln Park. So you know Lincoln Park and you somewhat north, going north of that, you know that's where the money at. More money than the burbs. More money than the burbs. Those people in that art store was making money, making real money. I ain't never had no sales out there. So I remember a few of the microaggressions that I can remember is that I told y'all before that when I cut my hair off, I had locks when I first started the job. And so I think after about a year, 8 months or a year, whatever it was, I ended up cutting off my locks. Can't even 100% remember why. I think it was a little bit of me trying to fit the mold. And so I cut it off. I go to work. I didn't have to go. Another thing I loved about working there, and I've always loved about, you know, the kind of jobs I've had, I would go in the office when I felt like it, kind of just to drop off checks and those sort of things. But I worked from home even there. Like I would just get dispatched from home to go wherever. And so I remember coming in after I got my locks cut off, and my manager, she she ends up saying, "Oh, Lavelle, you look so professional now." I was like, bitch, bitch, what? Bitch, who? You look so professional now? Now. Not before. I'm wearing the same clothes that I always wear. The only difference is my hair. It's cut low. I don't have no lock. I don't have no black people hairstyle, I guess. I now look professional. Bitch. Another thing she did, she used to do stuff. She would do stuff here or there. She totally did not know that she was racist though. Like she wasn't being racist on purpose. It was a blind, racism. She ended up, I remember she even invited us to her house for Christmas party or something. I like, oh geez, I don't really want to go, but I'm like, let me go to try to act like I'm, trying to belong. And then the other thing is, I told y'all when I still have not found, I know it's somewhere, but I got recognized in the company newsletter from her. And it was like employee of the month kind of thing. And I can't remember, one of them was just, it was fine. But the one I remember was, Lavelle is good at finessing clients and blah, 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 and this and that. And I was like, finessing? That sounds like a scammer. Finessing? Like, that sounds like I'm getting over. I mean, I do. I was working sales. I had to do what I hated sales. I still hate sales. I can do it, but I hate it. I don't fuck with no sales. I'm not fucking with no sales. I don't want it. I don't want it. I will sit here and eat rice and beans and rice and ramen noodles before I work in sales again. So, but I'm like, finesse, it just be, and I think my other issue with it, the wording, period. But then it was like, I've seen at that point, however many newsletters for the year plus that I had been there. And I never saw that sort of writing style when it came to the white people who got recognized constantly. And I think at a point they made a conscious decision to recognize us black salespeople. Because again, it was only us. I don't think it was none. I literally think it was just us in that one store. I really think it was. Because they made a purposeful decision to try to reach those neighborhoods. Because again, now we know the company was trying to survive. We didn't know at the time. Trust me. And it was like, I probably did something passive aggressive. I can't even quite remember, but I know I did. And I know I told and Sharina. I know I told them, what's her name, Sharina or something? I think it was slightly different than that. She said, oh no. And it was a black girl too. It was a black younger girl. I forgot about her. Because I saw her, we're still Facebook friends. I saw her, I don't be on my personal Facebook a lot, but I saw her profile a couple months ago and I was like, I forgot all about her. But she didn't last as long as the rest of us. And I think it was just me and Serena, but they never kept us black people on the same shit. Oh, because here was the other thing. So we got those microaggressions happening or whatever. Yeah. She was definitely culturally ignorant for sure. They all were. Because it was a bunch of old white, Paula Dean kind of looking white women. Had that vibe to a degree, but she was like a a smaller, petite white woman, but she Paula Dean-ish. Paula Dean and y'all, now this is real old school. Some of y'all ain't gonna be able to go here with me. Remember Mel's Diner? And what was Kiss My Grits? What was the name of the characters on Mel's Diner? Man, I ain't seen that in 20 plus years. They give you that vibe. That because some of them were a little more polished and higher end, and some of them was a little, little more relatable for they level. So it says she sounds like that teacher from Everybody Hates Chris that would say the most racist, inappropriate stuff. Yes, thank you. That's what it was. It was that vibe. And we had some that felt like Flo. Thank you. Flo. Kiss my grits, Mel. Yes. She gave that was the energy there. But they were, it was a mixture of them because white folks come in all shades, colors, styles, and characters as well. So anyway, the company starts to go belly up on us. We're seeing it coming. I saw it coming. Well, here's the thing. So we get a message at some point. I think we got an email or something. The email tells us that, because us black folks was the only ones who got salary. The white folks didn't get the salaries. And the other people in our store, guess why? Because they got to go to the places where their sales margins were higher, way higher. So they didn't get salary. We got salary because it was supposed to make up for us not being able to make as much money. They then decided at a certain point, they're getting rid of our salary. The base salary of $25K is gone. What they then changed to, now this ain't no conversation, no discussion, no how y'all feel about it, none of that. It's as of next pay period, this is what's happening. They tell us salary's gone. You will get paid hourly. There will be no salary, period. First and foremost, it's commission only now. However, you will be able to get hourly pay by coming into the store and working in the store, I think 2 days a week, maybe something like that, 2 to 3 days a week. I was like, I didn't sign up to be working in no retail blind store. And our store wasn't that big or elaborate either. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And they had store staff. So that was the only option. And whatever they were paying us per hour, and it still wasn't going to add up to the $25K. So I'm like, not only am I now losing my salary, but then on top of that, y'all getting extra time out of me, like extra work, because I still got to go out and do my appointments. And on certain days, I come into the office and work that. I was like, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. And then they tried to put it like, well, if you help a customer in the store and they need an in-home consultation, you'll get that commission. And that means now, when you get people who live in this area, you'll be able to get them as well. That didn't work out like that. It did not work out like that. Most of those people they already had secured. We didn't get a lot of walk-in. How many people really walk in a blind store? People go to home. We were right in front of the Lowe's. Who come in here when they go to Lowe's and pay 50% less for the same products? So anyway, yeah. So I was doing that because they did a bait and switch on us. And so while I was trying to figure out my next move, because I was a real estate appraiser, and then the market crashed, and so I went into window treatment sales, and then that switched up, and then I started working. Hey, Eunice, and then I started working part-time. So I was still working at Eddie Z's, and to make up for the loss with my salary, I started working at Kohl's, the department store, at night. I was doing stocking at night, and it was a new store they had built. And so I was a part of, just like Best Buy, I opened up that store as well. And I actually enjoyed that job. It was peaceful. We were so far out in the burbs that nobody really came. The great part was like, although we were a retail store, it was barely anybody in there. It's still open to this day too. It was barely anyone in there. All I did literally was, I didn't even do stocking. They stocked it. All I did was price changing throughout the night, like changing and then At a point, most of the stuff was digital. So we would just take this little machine and change the price on the digital price. Oh my God, that job was a breeze. And then they wanted me to become a manager. And I was like, yeah, nah, I already got another job. Like, I got another job and I'm trying to like get out of all of this. Like, oh, and then I started my construction company again. So what I started doing was doing consultations for construction, and I started to pick up projects here or there. Somehow they got word, because I put my portfolio together officially and all of that stuff. My portfolio, like my construction portfolio, I also combined with my window treatment portfolio to enhance my presentation, to show people that I wasn't just some random dude coming in. Because some people had an issue with a man coming in, telling them about home design and decor and designing window treatments. They didn't trust me because I would then come in there like, girl, I know what to do for you. We do this and throw this over there. Girl, you're going to be fabulous. I wasn't doing all that. So they like, this straight dude ain't going to know how to do nothing up in here. So I had to show him, although I'm not the 2 snaps and a twirl kind of gay, and nor was I telling them I was gay. Just because I ain't presenting like that don't mean I don't know design. So I had my portfolio so that they could see this is my actual real work that I've done in real life. Before even, like all of it was before. I had a few of my before and afters from, but it wasn't oftentimes that I was able to get out to where they would be doing my installs to get to the before and after. I had a couple, but most of my stuff was like my real construction work, my real life construction work. So they get word of it. And there was this one manager, didn't even work in our store. He was in the corporate office. He hated me for some reason. You know what? Because I didn't let him belittle me. I didn't let him, and he reminded me of, remember I told y'all when I worked at Best Buy, there was this one manager, this frumpy, Humpty Dumpty looking white guy who was hating on me as a teenager. He was a grown man in his 20s, probably late 20s at that point, maybe even 30s. I don't know how old he was. But he was hating on me as a teen because I was good at what I did, but yet I didn't let him treat me less than. And so this guy had that same, and he would try, like he would do the little microaggression stuff too. His was, I think, a little bit more purposeful, like during our trainings and certain meetings and all of that. And he's actually, I think he was one of the people who interviewed me. 2 people interviewed me. I kind of got a feeling that maybe he, out of the 2 people that interviewed me, he might have been the one that didn't want me. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like he was I know during the interview, he was trying to give me a hard time, but he couldn't stump me. Because for one, I wasn't lying about any of my experience. And I think he was trying to make it like I was lying about my experience and I was running circles around him. So I think it maybe set a tone. I don't know. But from training, from that first training all the way through a year and a half or 2 years, however long, it was way longer than I planned because I had only planned to be there a few months to figure out life. And next thing you know, it was like, I think going into 2 years and I was like, I'm still here. Oh Lord, what did I do? So he gets word probably through whatever, people gossip, that I have started my own business, that I'm doing my own work or whatever. Like I got my own, I'm an entrepreneur again. And although they cut our salary and all of this stuff, he was bothered by that for whatever reason. And I don't know if I feel like someone tipped me off a little bit. I feel like someone tipped me off. And I think Leanne was involved in some level. Leanne was involved because next thing I know, I get terminated. I can't remember. And I don't get terminated from jobs, y'all. I don't get terminated. I quit. Or I forced them, or I create a situation for them to terminate me, but it's all on purpose. But I really haven't even done that often. And if I do it, it ain't something egregious. It's just like, oh, I see. It's like my friend who I'm saying, oh, her boss is obviously trying to set her up for failure. So you allow it. You fix it in a way. You fix it where you can't be let go and still can't get unemployment because they made you into doing something so egregious that then you don't qualify for unemployment. I know how to work the system. I've been on both sides. So I did that in that situation and I saw it coming. So when they finally let me go, I was like, yes. I immediately was like, unemployment. Now I get to not have to go in that old box store and stand there for 8 hours looking crazy, having these old lame ass conversations with you. Okay, let me not go too far. Having these old lame ass conversations with y'all. So I apply for unemployment. They try to fight the unemployment. I was like, these motherfuckers, you fired me. I can't even remember. I wish I could remember what the terms, what they tried to say. I don't know if it was me taking time off. I think it was something with me taking time off too or something. Oh no, I remember. Because this is how I work. I changed my schedule on them. I told them. Now, okay, so months, I don't know, I probably did that foolishness with their schedule for 2-3 months, if that, knowing me probably a month and a half. And I was like, I ain't doing this shit. So what I did was I then came back to them with what I was going to do. And I was like, as of this date, I will need to adapt my schedule to be this so that I can, whatever I have, I worded. I did it in a way to not screw myself, but force them into a situation because they needed me in the moment. I knew what I was doing. I'm smart. So they adapted to my new schedule. That's where they fucked up. They adapted to my new schedule. I was like, I ain't working this day. I'm only doing 6 hours on this day. Never on a Thursday. Never beyond this time. I'm an Aries. You try to fuck me over, I'm gonna fuck you over. So they end up adapting to whatever the schedule. I wish, Lord knows, I wish I could find those emails and stuff because I know it would be hilarious to all of us right now. They adapt to the new schedule. Let me work it for maybe 2 weeks, maybe, and then tried to fire me saying I have started another business and am not dedicated to them or whatever, however they finagled it. And so that's how they tried to let me go. I applied for unemployment. They then try to reject my unemployment. And the guy was in the lead of it, the guy in the corporate office. He then rejects it. I appeal it. I appeal to him trying to reject my unemployment and then contest it. And then we have the phone meeting. By the time we had a phone meeting, I done sent over the email documentation to unemployment. I done sent their acceptance of my new scheduling, the exchanges between me and Leanne, who was my manager at the time, and all of that, and how things were going. I'm submitting to them my employee of the months, all these great emails from my customers and from Leanne, because Leanne liked me. Leanne did like me. All of that. Oh, I went in on them. I was like, I'm throwing Leanne under the bus. I ain't never liked your ass with your microaggressions. I ain't liked you like that. All of it. I'm throwing it all at the whole kitchen sink. And the unemployment case manager was like, so let me get this straight. You're saying the problem was that he didn't want to work the hours that you guys had set forth, correct? And he's like, yes, he had other things he was doing and he started a business and da-da-da. And she says, but did he ever work the new schedule? Now, she already know I did. He worked that schedule for about 2 weeks or whatever it was. She's like, oh, okay, so you accepted the terms of the schedule that he requested. He was saying that whatever. So you get the stuttering. And she was like, okay, well, we determined, it looks like you guys agreed to the terms. I'm really lost at how he gets terminated for terms you agreed to and allowed him to work. His claim has been approved. And she got to say, she said it would be on the phone. That was a decade ago, y'all. I'm still cheesing from it. Almost a decade. Still cheesing from it. It's like, I got you, motherfuckers. Power to the people. Power to the people. So then I lived on unemployment. And how about I get unemployment while I was working at Kohl's? I ended up quitting Kohl's not too long after that though, because I was like, I'd rather live off unemployment than than them to cut it short for me working at Kohl's. Then I can't remember what I else I did. Right. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Get my unemployment. So I don't even know how I got into that long ass story, but anyway, I have been through some stuff with corporate America. We all have, any of us have worked there, right? He fucked up. All of us have. And so being free from it for 3 years has put me in a mental space where I'm like, damn, I don't want to lose my peace. Lord, I don't want to lose my peace. But I'm like, I also don't want to lose the lifestyle I've become accustomed to. And right now that's more important because I'm even more steadfast than I used to be. Woo, woo. I can't do the bullshit. I can't do it. Right, Marlena? So pray for me, y'all. Pray for us in general, because I'm not disappearing. We're gonna shift it to being more personal. I think I'm gonna put that on. I don't know. Part of me is like I should use the VellB Reacts because we got the people over there already, and that'll probably raise it up. The only thing is the algorithm doesn't like you changing your content. That's one of the other struggles I've had. It will jack you up. So, but yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. I feel like it was something else. But anyway, that's that kind of experience that I've had is what I've been trying to share with my friends in her current situation. Like, play them before they play you. Sit back, let it play out, but be prepared along the way. Play chess, not checkers. And then also, like, I have these stories. I have it even from a more professional standpoint of like, because one of the things that came to me out of that conversation was like, I could do a YouTube video on like, my boss hates me. What's next? Or what should I do? And I can share these stories and techniques because some people don't know. I know a lot of people who've gotten fired or they know their boss don't like them or, people are making things difficult at work. And then they get frustrated and quit. And then they screw themselves because now you can't get unemployment. Don't do that. You don't sit your ass there and do the bare minimum until they get rid of you while building the case. Now, you still got to work because you can't set it up in a way that they can fire you justly. They got to make them get tired of you. Make them and make them think they win it. It's you got to play chess, not checkers. It's a little complex. These are the conversations that should be on YouTube. It's very relatable, funny, like a lot of your stories. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. I think I need, and again, this is what people know me for, like people in my life. I don't be in my friend circles gossiping about Tamar and the Braxtons and Judge Mathis and his divorce, and that don't be my conversation. These sort of things be my conversation. So yeah. I got to figure out how I'm doing it. It's going to happen. I got to figure out, does it go on YouTube? Maybe I clip this stuff from Patreon on YouTube like I was going to do. I mean, it's all going on YouTube, but maybe I clip this down for YouTube for the main channel and then still create the separate channel for the stuff that's more growth related. Because I still want to do a trended topic here or there. Like I said, celebrity, stuff here or there, because it is something I'm interested in. But YouTube is not gonna be okay with me doing this sort of commentary and then throwing in, what's happening with T.I. and Tiny. Like, it don't work like that. It'll have your channel all over the place and never growing. I haven't been on in a couple weeks. Has it been a month? It might have been a month since I've done a live on YouTube on the main channel. So my fear is if I keep taking too long, and even now, my stuff might start looking like that. He got 20 something views on a live. I'm like, ouch. But it's other ones. The guy told you I've been watching a younger YouTuber. He's like 24. He's been on YouTube since he was about 10 years old or something. He now has over 600,000 subscribers, but his channel views went down to the point that he went from making 6 figures as a teenager to like struggling and doing Amazon and DoorDash and all of that, trying to make up the gap because he got a mortgage and everything based on the kind of money he used to make. 2 Teslas and all kind of stuff. I'm like, I love this social media thing to a degree, but I don't want to be reliant on that like that. I'm like, yeah, let me just settle in with a base salary and then we can do this stuff, and that's fine. I can work with that and just do it out of love. And then, the extra money will be amazing because then I'll have 2 Tesla. I don't want no Tesla though, but I'll have 2 EVs in my garage. Give them a taste, and if they want the full meal, they'll have to subscribe to your page. Yeah, that's exactly. I would never, for one, I would never share everything that I share over here on YouTube. I guarantee you that. The other piece is I wouldn't want to cheat y'all out of you pay. So why would I give the YouTube for free, which y'all have to pay a subscription for? So that it's twofold. And that's why I do share more and I'm more transparent with y'all than I am on YouTube because y'all paying. So there's a level of trust that I have because I'm like, if you care enough to pay, then I can at least be, more open. But anyway, it's the middle of it's not even the middle of today, only Monday. I'm talking about it's the middle of the week. Y'all see how my brain, I just be all over the place. But thank y'all for joining me. It was very impromptu, but I told y'all I was gonna consider going. It's been a couple nights that I almost still went live, like really like jumped on at midnight or 12:30 or 1. And I was like, ain't nobody gonna be up. I'm gonna be looking crazy on here with no viewers. So I still, even though I know some of y'all said, no, we be up and blah, blah, blah. So I'll probably eventually do that. Y'all do understand that I have like my own anxieties and stuff that I be dealing with. But I'm glad I was able to come live. Even I'm glad that Messy Crooks motivated me to hop on here. This was fun, and I'll be seeing y'all this week. We'll definitely have, because I don't think we went live last week at all. Did we go live last week at all? Because I feel like the week got away from me, and I was like, oh, I don't think we went live at all. Or did I go? No, because I did a pre-recorded video. Did we go live last week? I don't know, but yeah, I want to, and I'll start giving y'all some work with me's during the day again too. It's just that my brain hasn't been as focused. So when I am being productive, it's like I kind of got to be within my own mind, but I do want to start returning to the work with me's during the day too. Yeah, I feel like the week just got away. That was not on purpose. The week really got away from me. So yeah, I'm gonna make it up this week. We're gonna get a couple of them in this week. So all right, I thank y'all for hanging out with me. It's been fun. Thank y'all for keeping a brother company and laughing with me and helping me with the ups and downs of life. It's rough. I don't say everything. It'd be rough, but I thank y'all for hanging with me. But I will talk to y'all very, 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 very soon. All right, y'all have a good night. Peace.